Okay, so real quick, if you did not watch the scene after the ending song, I recommend you to stop this video and go watch it, because it's very important to what is about to happen, but also for the remainder of Assassination Classroom. And so, like I said, if you've yet to see the scene after the ending song, go watch it right now. Anyways, we found out what the research was doing. For instance, what the research lets us know is that Koro-sensei has a 1% chance of exploding. Now, I want to just throw this on out there. When it comes to manga, literature, movies, whatever, when you hear 1%, usually that 1% turns into 100%. Let's just face the cold, hard facts. If there's always a percentage in literature, usually that means it could happen. It will happen. So, Koro-sensei is still destined to somewhat explode. It's not completely off the table. He can destroy the entire world. And so this lets us know that at this time, there is really no possible way to completely save Koro-sensei. Now, one thing I want to take note of is that this episode mainly focuses on going to space. Nagisa and Karma going to space to try to get the research and being able to save Koro-sensei, which, like I just said, we found out the results of this research, which resulted in Koro-sensei having a 1% chance of exploding because of the size of, him. He's a human-sized creature. And that's why he won't necessarily explode to the extent of like the rat did on the moon. But still, I mean, it's still worrisome because this lets us know that the assassination might still need to happen. The government's not going to stop hunting down Koro-sensei. Regardless, if Koro-sensei does not explode when the deadline hits, the year deadline, they're still going to hunt him down because he is still a threat. He has a 1% chance of exploding, and that's never going to change unless they have new research on something. So, till the end of days, Koro-sensei is always going to be hunted down. He will be hunted down until he dies. That's one thing that's probably going to happen for the rest of, his life. So that's something we need to factor into. But another thing we need to look at is also how this episode really focused on the bond between Nagisa and Karma. As we know, the last couple episodes have been focusing on the dispute between Team Blue and Team Red, going against each other, kill Koro-sensei or save Koro-sensei, and we finally get to see the two leaders of these different squads working together in this episode, and seeing how their friendship has taken a whole new step, and in the right direction, of course. For instance, Nagisa and Karma, they're talking to each other like they're really good friends now. You have to where they go to space, they're having some dialogue with the people in space, which I'll get into that in a moment, and they get the data they need. And for the most part, it was just really good to see Karma and Nagisa getting along so well. A lot better than they were for the beginning part of the series. So when it comes to the dialogue of this episode, oh my god. Oh my god. The English. Not English, the English. You know what? I will actually go as far as to say English, actually. I won't make fun of it. There was some English there, but there was some pretty damn good English. Like, I'm not gonna fucking lie. I'm not gonna lie to you. When it comes to Japan, and they usually do English scenes, which it does happen quite often when it comes to anime, usually the English doesn't sound 10 out of 10. It sounds like 1 out of 10. It makes you want to laugh at the scene. Even if it's a serious scene, you want to laugh at the scene more than anything. And I feel like that actually made this episode work in its favor because of how bad the English was at some points. Because Karma and Nagisa's English, it was just so terrible. It was so fucking bad. But it fit the scene because it was meant to be a comedy scene. Because, they weren't really bringing a bomb to the space station. They were just trying to get research and they were just pulling their leg. And at the end of the day, it was just a comedy scene. It was a very fun moment for them and a part of their lives. And so that right there, I felt like the English actually worked in this situation. But when it came to the actual space station employees, the English, it wasn't English, it was actual English. I was just amazed with how good it was. Now, it wasn't 10 out of 10, but the English was better than some English speakers. It was really fucking amazing. I'm surprised how good that English was in this episode of Assassination Classroom. So yeah, the sentences they were saying, like the different words and all that in English, I was just dumbstruck by how good it was. They did a very good job. Whoever they got to voice act those different lines of English, they did a fantastic job. And even when they shifted over to Japanese, it was very good, actually. It didn't feel like it was cringy, it didn't feel like it didn't fit. I loved how it swapped back and forth from Japanese to English. It like, kind of suited the entire situation. So yeah, this episode of Assassination Classroom was very good comedy, along with some very good characterization and development for Nagisa and Karma. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. How did you feel about that scene when, you know, they both surpassed the speed of Koro-sensei for the first time in the series? How did you feel about that? That was a very emotional moment. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.